To say you gotta know somebody, or know somebody to get somewhere these days. To say you know that's alright, yeah that's alright, cause you know that's alright with me. Yeah, you know that's alright, yeah that's alright, cause you know that's alright.
The same people live there, so they should be thanking me. Definitely got to take care of somehow.
Oh, you got a lot of goodwill for it. I'm sure the dogs thank you.
Plus that for the adjuster.
Hey, I see you like to remember me?
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions or a deal? Anybody have a deal going on that they're having a problem with or something?
I have a question about houses that are for sale by a realtor, and you find out it's a good deal, you try to make a good offer. What's the best approach to use? Do you use a realtor? Do you go through the realtor? I mean,
The first thing I'll answer to that is I have a mentor, Pete Fortunato. We talked to Eric about him. He's a wonderful guy. And Pete has a saying, and I firmly, actually, Warren Harding, who was Pete's mentor, said this. Warren Harding, the president, said opportunities are found, deals are made. So in other words, there's no deals in the marketplace. You have to make a deal. You can only find opportunities. You find an opportunity and say, let's make a deal, right? Monty Hall, whoever that is. So in dealing with a realtor, it all depends on the realtor, but depending on, my experience has been, I want to be, my best deals are always made belly to belly with the seller in the kitchen table where we're talking about it. Like I never, it's rare, and it probably wasn't until last year that I actually have ever made an offer on the house. I don't make offers on houses ever. And I probably will be doing a lot more of that, but what I typically do is discuss a solution and then write it down and have them write it and say, okay, so we did it, this lady comes in and, Jay, were you there that day we did that Minnie's house, North Carolina, she wanted to move to North Carolina, I don't know if you were there that day. This lady comes in and she wants, dealing with the seller directly, you can find out things like, what do you want the money for? You're looking to sell your house. Why? Why would you sell a wonderful house like this? It's like, this is a great house. Why would you sell this thing? Oh, I'm moving to North Carolina. Oh, really? Why are you moving to North Carolina? Well, I want to get out of this Philadelphia. I don't have any yard. I want to have a nice little garden. Yeah, my family's down there. So dealing with the sellers, you can find out all these things. And she says, I want $90,000 for the house. Okay. My friend asked her if she would do some financing. She goes, no, I need $90,000. So you ask somebody when they say need $90,000, what are you going to do with the money? And she said, typically, sometimes they'll say like it's none of your business, and then I just say, well, it's my money. It is my business. I want to know what you're going to do with my money. And sometimes they don't get that, but what we found out was she needed to find a house down there. She needed $20,000 to buy the house. That's all they were, cheap. But she needed some money to get back and forth to go find a place. So we said, well, that's $5 grand. So I made a structured deal with her. They said, I'll give you $5 grand now, 20 grand that I'll deposit with the title company once you find your house, and then you're gonna have lot rent, and that goes for anywhere between $350 and $400. So I said, all right, so I'll give you $400 a month until the 90 grand is completely paid. And she goes, you would do that? Yeah, of course I would do that. And then, but she thought she needed 90 grand. She didn't need 90 grand. She needed money to get back and forth to find her house. She needed 20 grand to buy that house, and she needed to make sure that her ground rent was paid for a period of years. That solved her problem. So dealing through a realtor, when you have that middleman thing, my whole thing is, let's all get together. Let's all get together and make a deal. If you can't do that.
I buy properties off the market, okay, but I do it a little differently than some people do it. I have all these searches. I have dozens and dozens of searches. I'm running in neighborhoods I'm interested in, and I'm constantly watching. I'm looking for houses that look like deals to me on there. I'm running searches for things like seller financing, keywords that are interesting. But one way I find a lot of deals is just wait for the properties to be sitting there for a while. Watch the prices begin to get reduced. And then and if you're running the searches automatically, you'll see the same property coming up every 4 weeks with another reduction. Come on, what's that tell you? They're desperate. They're ready to get out. They're ready to move. Then I will go make a you know, a terrible offer, which I'm awful, I'm called names, I've been called everything in the book, okay, well, you know, maybe I'll come back later, and I do, keep coming back, I'm like, you know, and you'll find great deals that way, if you're gonna prospect the MLS, realtors, the deals, that's the way I do it. And, you know, I've had people who sold me buildings who hated me, at settlement, they were, you know, feeling like I was stealing it from them, but that's the business, you know.
I had a realtor the other day that said, you know, if you're a serious buyer, you would go look at the house. Go, that's why I don't go look at the house, because I wanna know that there's a flexibility there before I go look. It's like, you go look at houses all day, I never buy any of them. If I'm not dealing with somebody that's willing to, you know, I can pay all cash, or I can pay top dollar, but I can't pay both, you know, one of the two. So I mean, it all depends, you have to know that there's some flexibility.
And the first thing that they'll always tell you is, well, write up the deal and I'll submit it. Okay, I go, what's your email address? Here's the deal. And then I write 2 sentences in an email and I forget about it. Okay, there's your, I'm writing up a deal for anybody.
Someone else,
You come back to me and tell me you talked to the seller, and the seller's agreed to this deal, and then maybe I'll write it up, if I believe it.
we put houses up for sale, and unless it's a full price offer that somebody puts in, I just tell the agent, schedule a meeting. What do you mean? Well, the person put an offer up, let's schedule a meeting with them. Let's work it out. I was like, I think he's really cool. I think he's onto something here. Let's get together. You know, and I've had one guy just stonewall me and said, no, you can't meet with him. What do you want? I said, look, you know, he put the offer together. The guy looks like he's going to give me $5,000 down to get an FHA loan, and he's getting $1,000 a month. What if I finance it for $5,000 down, $1,000 a month? Oh, no, he wants to go FHA. What? I'll finance it for $5,000 down, $1,000. No, he wants to go FHA. I don't understand that.
Yeah, you have so many paperwork to do.
Yeah.
Somewhere else that you don't know about.
Well, yeah, so, you know, there's things that, like, I just can't, sometimes I just can't go eye to eye, because I don't understand what he's talking about, and they don't understand what I'm talking about, we're just like talking 2 different languages. And, you know, maybe I should go to real estate school and learn, you know, how to speak that, I don't know.
It might interrupt you.
Yeah.
It might ruin your creative thinking.
Either that or bartending school, I think they're both the same length.
Well, he always says to me, why won't these realtors understand what I'm talking about? I said, well, they went to school for 2 weeks. I mean, it's the same amount of education as being a bartender, right?
I bet you get more deals as a bartender.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, you do.
Well, you get more deals, but the knowledge you learn, you can use it the rest of your life.
You gotta make sure that the notary is good. You can't do it right there.
But then people are in there drinking because they're losing their house.
But I'm still, is there any agents here that work for investors that have done deals with other investors that, you know, use them as an agent?
No.
Have you done it? David has.
What?
You know, you've done work with other real estate investors. I mean, you know more about flexibility,
Yeah.
so you know what's going on.
The tough thing is explaining to a broker now.
You have to explain to the other side.
And then the brokers tells me about like the Realtors Association and their rules and guidelines and stuff like that.
Well, it's, you know, like if I said,
Just
look, I want to
understand.
meet with the person. So what I don't understand is, do they tell you in school like you shouldn't meet, the seller and buyer should never meet until the closing table? You know, I always thought this contract thing meant meeting of the minds. How can they have a meeting of the minds if the minds never met? You know?
No, they don't say anything like that. I mean, in school they teach you a whole bunch of law. That's it. And they scare the crap out of you.
Phil, you make a good point in your book. I've always gone around on weekends and called for rent signs and stuff to know what rents are in certain respected neighborhoods and talk to people. And I've been calling people probably 3 or 4 years, just commercial signs, just to talk to them. I've met some of the most important people and other investors, smart guys that are big wigs, that took the time, because I called a blank sign and when it wasn't a house, he said, no, that's just a lot, and they'll talk to you. And I'm starting to call people, maybe a year and a half ago, people wouldn't even, they'd laugh at, what do you want for the building, $2 million? Can I meet with the owner? Hang up on me. Now, I'm starting to call these people saying the same thing. Look, can I talk to the owner? You know, I'm freaking spending $350,000, I'm spending $2.5 million. I wanna talk to the owner. What? And they're starting to say, well, maybe we can do that. They weren't doing that a year ago. And that's how I met Dave. I was down in North Philly, called a sign. Talked for about an hour on the phone one day about financing and doing this and that. Now owners are starting to say, well, real estate, like, some commercial guys say, yeah, maybe you can meet with the owner, but you know, so we'll come with a firm, or how serious are you? I'm like, how serious he's the seller? Will we hold paper? Like, well, he's thinking about that too. They weren't doing that a year and a half ago. But they would hang up on me, no, you're not gonna meet with me. Frick you think I'm here for? I'm like,
That's what I'm saying, market's changed. I never would consider buying anything off the MLS, but now I'm looking at it saying, wow, there's 9 months of inventory. Is that all right? No, I'm not.
Depends, I mean, the commercial real estate world, you can't learn that, you can't learn how to buy commercial real estate anywhere.
yeah.
You can't get a course in college to teach you. There's
Get
only
your feet
one way
wet.
to do it. Call the signs.
Yeah.
Just call them, sit down with people, you'll get some realtor who tries to block you, and you say, do you really think I'm gonna spend $2 million without talking to the guy who's been running this building for 10 years? You know, you'll get that appointment every time. And you sit down with him and you find out. That's how I came up in this business. I didn't know anywhere near, you read the books, you know.
That's how I learned. I don't know anything, but.
For millions of dollars. Yeah, Executech Suites, the best building that I ever bought, was for sale for $2.5 million. I ended up buying it for $2,150,000 with 10 grand in the bank.
Wow.
10 grand. If he had just asked me one question,
You get the money.
we're gonna take a $2.1 million asset off the market. You would need, roughly $500,000 in cash. We'd like you to show us the money before we take it off the market. This is Marcus and Millichap, biggest real estate commercial firm in Philadelphia, getting paid $140,000 in commissions for this deal. Never even asked me the question. Took the property off the market, and I have no explanation why. The only reason I can think is that I bullshitted them. You know what? They must have thought I looked so confident, right? Because I've been driving around for 3 years calling signs. I looked like I knew what I was talking about, and he just never asked. I mean, I had the money. I had real estate that had to be sold. And 1031 that money into that deal, but I